Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. Today we're going to be talking about space. On screen is my video called Scott Kelly and the Stupidity of Gravity. And this is why where they try and explain that gravity is proving painful for Scott Kelly. Which, of course, that's the most stupidest thing you've ever heard. The fact that he went into space and was off the magnet with its electromagnetic field and less electrical field, when he came back, he felt a prickling on his skin. This would be the increased energy system that he just moved into. You see, I've always said from the beginning that if you leave this planet, you're going to die because you are a little magnet on a big magnet powered by the big magnet. And if that little magnet goes off into space, as I showed the other day in a little demonstration, that magnet then reduces power. So, what did I say about Scott Kelly here? Let's have a quick listen.
And the further you go out in space, the less EM field you are in.
So, you're losing protection of the field you're in.
And so, his skin, as he said, it turned into like crocodile skin on the tops of his feet because that's energy retraction. And so his energy went inside his body rather than being outside because he is not in an EM field. So he's in a less intense EM field. As soon as Scott Kelly came back to Earth, he was immersed in a extremely extravagant EM field. And so, what does God's equation for life say?
Now this is where God gave me the simplest of equations, which isn't to do with numbers, and explained why we see things, why things happen.
Okay, so as we look at the equation that God gave me, which is electricity and electromagnetism and matter, let's have a look here. So electromagnetism plus matter. Where are we? Okay, M plus L equals E. Matter and electromagnetism gives electricity. I say it's visible, but it doesn't even matter. It gives electricity. M plus L equals E. Matter plus electromagnetism equals electricity. So just like the Army's microwave gun, which makes your skin feel like it's burning, which is what Scott Kelly describes, thus showing again that this gravity word that they banned about basically tell you does everything. Gravity is not burning his skin. Electromagnetism is going through his matter and so is causing electricity. Every time he moves or sits down, he changes voltage level and so experiences electricity, energy through his skin every time he moves. And so his skin is burning.
All right. So that's what happened. He left. He left an energy environment. He went to a less energetic environment, and then he came back. And when he came back, it started to hurt him. The only reason would be because of excess energy. Now we're going to go to the real story. Here we are at Sci News. And the study is the destruction of red blood cells contributes to anemia during long duration space flights. So again, everything they said about going to Mars and any other rubbish about going to other planets, I said in the last 7-8 years, and I'm sure thousands of others have said and understand how this planet works, is that you're going to die if you leave this planet. So let's have a read of what happens when you leave the giant magnet and the protection of it because you're part of the system. On Earth, our bodies create and destroy 2 million red blood cells every second. In a new study published today in the journal Nature Medicine, a team of scientists from the Ottawa Hospital Research Institute and the University of Ottawa found that astronauts were destroying 54% more red blood cells during their 6 months missions aboard the International Space Station, or 3 million every second. Space anemia has consistently been reported when astronauts return to Earth since the first space missions, but we didn't know why. Our study shows that upon arriving in space, more red blood cells are destroyed, and this continues for the entire duration of the astronauts' mission. Now, there are a few questions, as I'd like to know why blood cells are destroyed in the first place. So let me just look that up. Okay, so I put in, why does the body destroy blood cells? With this type of anemia, you're not born with certain conditions. Your body makes normal red blood cells, but they are later destroyed. This may happen because of certain infections, which may be viral or bacterial, other medicines, blood cancers, tumours, overactive spleens, mechanical heart valves may damage red blood cells, see a reaction to a blood transfusion. But let's go up here. You get certain infections. So straight off the bat, it would be easy to assume that without the protection of the planet, your immune system is going to take a massive hit. So your body is going to try and fight off all this viral behaviour. Because, as I've discussed in many videos in the past, the lowering of the EM field gives rise to other forms of life. Viruses and bacteria flourish when the EM field starts to go down. When energy is low, you get sick. If you are low, if you are run down, you get sick. Now, when God talks about Revelation and the end of the world, pestilence comes in. And because we know the sun is going to be going micronova, and because of everything I've said and proven for a voltage drop throughout the universe, God telling you that pestilence is going to arrive is because of the lowering EM field. So that again goes with God's words and what I'm saying about science. So the body has been put into hyperactiveness once it's in space, because it's trying to fight off all this bacteria and viral things. And I'm not saying this is inclusive and this is the only reason. Your body's trying to fight things off because it's in a completely different environment where it is now lacking an EM field running through you, moving your body and keeping it in the living state it is when it is on the surface of this planet. So it's looking like, for me, it's your body's way of having to work harder because it is no longer immersed in an energy environment. All right. Before the new study, space anemia was thought to be a quick adaptation to fluids shifting into the astronaut's upper body when they first arrived in space. Instead, the authors found that the red blood cell destruction was a primary effect of being in space, not just caused by fluid shifts. So it's the point of being in space that's making their bodies work harder than ever to repair themselves, is my opinion. They demonstrated this by directly measuring red blood cell destruction in 14 astronauts during the 6-month space missions. Thankfully, having fewer red blood cells in space isn't a problem when your body is weightless, said the professor. But when landing on Earth and potentially on other planets or moons, anemia affecting your energy, endurance and strength can threaten mission objectives. The effects of anemia are only once felt when you land and must deal with gravity again. In the study, 5 out of 13 astronauts were clinically anemic when they landed. One did not have blood drawn. They say the space-related anemia was reversible. Well, you're back in a full energy system now. Interestingly, they repeated the same measurements 1 year and found that blood cell destruction was still 30% above pre-flight levels. So a year afterwards, the red blood cell destruction was 30% above pre-flight levels. Why would this be? Could be that the damage is quite severe. Could be that viral infections have damaged blood vessels. We don't know. There hasn't been enough tests done on it. The results suggest that structural changes, may have happened to the astronaut while they were in space, and I kind of just said that changed blood flow cell control for up to a year after long-duration space missions. And the discovery has several implications. Of course it does. If your body's got to work harder once it leaves this planet, does it get even more harder the further away you get from it? So just being taken off the giant energy source means you need more blood to start with. The discoveries have several implications. It supports screening astronauts, obviously, for the best cell production, blood conditions, so that you get a really healthy athlete. The longer the space mission, the worse the anemia, which could impact long missions to the moon and Mars. Long missions to the moon? I suppose if they stayed on the moon, that might make sense. Increased red blood cell production will require an adapted diet. It's unclear how long the body can maintain this high rate of destruction and production of red blood cells. Basically, you're working harder and you're going to burn out. According to their scientists, their findings could also be applied to life on Earth. If we could find out exactly what's causing this anemia, then there is a potential to treat or prevent it both for astronauts and for patients here on Earth. Well, they took them off Earth and they developed it, and some people have it on Earth. So it has something to do with energy construction and the energy system we are in. Some people are weak, some people are strong. This depends on your genetic bloodline and what markers you have in your body so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. Again, we always have this massive range of scale from 0 to 100 on things human bodies can do, from weak to strong. But now we have a correlation of what's causing anemia. Lack of energy, your body not being able to utilize the system you're in. Because once a healthy person was taken out of the energy system, they started to suffer. Their body could not produce enough energy. And so this must be happening to people who are anemic on this planet. So you just have to figure out how to boost it. So again, though, we've come down to what I said since day one. We are never getting off this planet. We are never going anywhere. We are not going to colonize anything because you're all going to die when you leave this planet. And there ain't no other planet with an atmosphere. So there we go. You leave this planet, you've had it. This is where we were designed, created, and placed. And there's nowhere else for us to go. And there's absolutely no evidence of any place to go. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ. And some things are just energy related. Well, all things are energy related, really. But again, this goes with everything I've said, that we are never getting off this planet. Thanks a lot.